How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massa Beer Reviews, back with a little bit of Colorado hopeful Foeder goodness in the form of Cerebral Brewing. This be their tactical Manuever Foeder Helles. Yeah, this comes courtesy of my boy Tim. He shot me off a bunch of Colorado beers, some mystery, some not. Obviously, this is one of the nots. And this is a 5.1% Foeder-based Helles. And that be that. Yeah, how old is this? Does not say. Malts in this are Pilsner, Vienna, Dextrine. I actually called that out during the unboxing. Dextrine brew sugar. That's kind of weird for Foeder or for Helles. And Hallertau and Mittelford classic hops for a little bit of Helles. So what are we expecting here? So we're expecting, I'm assuming a very dry beer. Now you're just like, brewer sugar. Why would you expect a dry beer then? Well, you know, brewer sugar is basically typically so you can reach ABV. You can have a lightness, a crispness to a beer while not using all malts. So that way you can get a beer up to a certain level of ABV without having a too malty of a beer. That's why a lot of IPAs use them. That's why I'm like, okay, I have a Helles using brewer sugar. And the reason why I think they're doing that is they want to make this as crispy as possible. So they're doing not a ton of malt, a little bit of brewer sugar just to get up there to that 5.1%. Otherwise, I think they come in a little bit maltier, a little bit low ABV. Wouldn't be a horrible thing. But then you're talking about an easier digestible sugar that the yeast will kind of work through really quick, which means a lack of residual sugar unless they put a ton of it in there, which means it is going to be dry. Now, once you throw it into the Foeder, it's actually going to be even drier. So we'll see how that kind of works. So it's basically, you know, that kind of barrel stavey kind of Foeder looking background. I dig it. Don't hate on it. And label-wise, or beer-wise, it had a nice head on it, dissipated relatively quickly, but it has that soft kind of unfiltered haziness you'd expect from like a barrel-aged, Foeder-aged kind of beer, especially something this light. Crisp and golden in color. Let's get a nose. Yeah, I mean, it's got this soft Pilsner lager yeastiness to it. A little bit of soft funkiness, nothing too crazy. Nice soft sweetness that is pretty much malt derived. And a soft bittering that's relatively generic, maybe eking into a little bit of melon characteristics. Nothing a little bit funky that could have happened from maybe an older use kind of Foeder, or nothing huge as far as wood, or any kind of vanilla from like a French vanilla kind of wood. I think this is actually like a multiple use Foeder, and it's probably well aged at this point. So it's probably just more of a softening agent more than anything else. That smells nice. Let's dive in. Cheers. Okay. There is a nice sweetness to it, but I believe that all that sweetness comes from a malt. Comes from that maltiness. Now, I'm not a brewer, but my assumption here would be that any kind of yeast, while it's working through all these sugars, is going to attack that kind of brewer sugar first and leave maybe a little bit of malt sweetness behind. Maybe that's why they're bringing up a bigger kind of nice kind of Pilsner-y maltiness to it, which ends up coming off really robust in a really fun way. But there is a dryness to it. I attribute a lot of the drying on this to the actual Foeder itself. That wood tannin that's coming out, and soften those edges, not overly soft. That sweetness keeps it from getting there. But it's a nice balance between that big pop of woody kind of tannin kind of dryness in combination with a nice sweet maltiness. A little bit of generic bittering in there. Done and done. It's actually pretty aggressive for a Helles and also a Foeder-based Helles. You're expecting a Helles not to be overly aggressive. Sure, it can be a bit bittering here and be a little melon here, be a little lager yeasty there. But it's usually nothing too aggressive for its ABV style. Obviously, it's not going to be aggressive compared to like a triple IPA or anything like that. But it's big in that aspect. But it's also, you expect a little bit of those softened edges from that Foeder. And it's, while it has a softness and creaminess to it, it's still quite aggressive for being in there. So it's kind of a fun kind of back and forth kind of tug of war between the sharpness of this beer you get from the malt, and you get from that dryness, which is accentuated by that bitterness, and then just the rest of it kind of having a bit of roundness to it. So I think it's quite fun. It's pretty aggressive for this kind of style of beer, but I don't hate on it. I mean, I love uber traditional beers. I love traditional Helles. I like when people put uber traditional into a Foeder and end up with this soft, super chuggable, drinkable package. This one's a little bit different. Like I said, it comes a little bit more aggressive. I can appreciate that. So I'm not going to sit here and BJCP nerd about how this fits in this guideline here and that guideline there. All I can tell you is I went in this expecting something a little bit softer, a little bit more chuggable, drinkable, but I got something a little beefier, a little bit bigger at its ABV level and style. Keep that in mind. And I don't hate on it. I actually like it quite a bit. It's a very fun beer. So thank you very much, Tim, for sending this off. Yeah. So let's talk about it. Is this one of the better Helles or Foeder beers that I had as a late? I like it. I really enjoy it. It's up there towards the top. Is it Mount Rushmore status? I don't know. Usually these lower, or I like these a little bit lower ABV. Nah, Helles 5.1 is fine, but I want them a little bit more chuggable. This has that heft to it, a little bit more aggressive. It'd be like a 1 or 2 beer and then move on kind of beer for me. Not necessarily a bad thing, but when you kind of compartmentalize in your head, it being a Helles, it's kind of a weird thing to do. So I don't know. I still really like it, though. That's all that matters. Value and availability, no idea. Anybody out there in the Cerebral universe, Tim, or anybody, let me know what's what and leave you with if you like what we like this beer. If you like Helles, you like Foeder beers, but you want something that, again, keep in mind the relativity of what I'm talking about here, aggressive version of this beer, because that's what this is. It kind of amplifies all those good bits and pieces of your Helles and classic style Helles and Foeder based beers and just takes it from, a 4 to a 4.5 to 5 on a scale of impactfulness, with your 10 being barley wine, hair on fire kind of thing. It's just tasty, fun beer and really well made stuff. I like Cerebral. I like what I've had, and most of the stuff has been hazy. So to have something like this that is a little bit outside of what I've known them for, and to come off this this fun, I'm a fan. So there you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers. If you want to check me out doing the social media stuff, Beer Massive. If you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing, you see it up there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully you're enjoying a little bit of Foeder pills right now. Or Helles, I mean. Hopefully see you next time. Cheers.